Hey guys, my name is Anna Williams, as you know, and I'm currently a grade 11 IB diploma program student. Now, when I said IB, what was the first word that immediately came to mind? Stress. Right, so international because it's in the name. Stress, summatives maybe, things related to academic pressure. But it's not just IB students that experience this, it's grade 11 students globally. Because I mean, think about it, this is our second last year of high school. Very, very exciting, but also very, very nerve-wracking. We just got so much to do. You gotta bring your grades up, you gotta do your CAS. For those of you that don't know what CAS is, it's basically community outreach. University hunting, hanging out with friends, keeping up with family, and it's just an endless list of things that need to be done. But it's not the actual goals that pressure us, it's how we plan on achieving them. Because, okay, for example, you gotta get your grades up, right? How do you do that? You get tuition, but now tuition is taking up the time that you set out for doing homework. Now you're doing homework later at night, and you're cutting into your sleep because you think that's the only thing you can cut into. Spoiler alert, it's not. Okay, imagine this for me. It is 2 a.m. and you're sitting on your desk, and your desk looks more like a crime scene than a desk because of the amount of papers that are flooded on it. And you drank about 3 or 4 Monsters or coffee, drink of your choice, and you're trying to read the sentence in front of you, but you just can't because you've completely disassociated. You cannot understand anything anymore. That is the average life of a student during exam season, and that is what I'm here to talk about today. Our study culture and how toxic it has become. We've normalized putting our achievements above all else, including our health, including the time that we take to sleep. Okay, like I said, our thinking process is very, very simple, right? We've got this, and this to do. We don't have time to do it, so we'll do it later in the night. We'll learn all of it later. That's actually working against us, because studies show that after learning something, you need sufficient sleep in order to actually click save on those memories. Not only that, but you should also be taking a nap before you learn anything, because think of your brain like a sponge. After taking a nap, it's dry and ready to soak up new information. But this is just how sleep affects your brain. How does it affect your body? Well, it affects your cardiovascular system. For example, there is this experiment performed twice a year. It's an hour long, and it's performed on 1.6 billion people. It's called daylight savings time. And basically what happens is that in the spring, when we get 1 less hour of sleep, the following day there's a 24% increase in the number of heart attacks recorded. Whereas in the spring, in the autumn, when we get 1 more hour of sleep, there's a 21% decrease in the number of heart attacks reported the following day. I don't know what that sounds like to you guys, but I think sleep affects us, like, a little bit, you know? Yeah. So, let me try and give you guys a little bit of a more relatable example, but before I do that, I need to give you a background on epigenetics. We'll start off pretty simple, right? I assume we all know what DNA is. Yes, it's got 2 main functions: inheritance and coding for proteins. Proteins are there for everything. Structural support, enzymes, hormones, you name it, and proteins probably have some biological role in it. Epigenetics is your classic nature versus nurture. It's the way that you interact with your environment and how that affects your genes. This can be through diet, air pollution, the amount of time that you sleep. And now epigenetic tags is how this happens. These are basically chemical markers that attach onto your DNA and determine whether or not that gene is going to be expressed, allowed to code for proteins. Is everyone still following? It's kind of like, think about it like turning a light switch on and off. When that gene is expressed, you are allowed to code for proteins and the light is turned on. But when the gene is not expressed, no proteins made, lights off. In this study that I was talking about, they took a group of healthy adults and they limited them to 6 hours of sleep for 1 week. Sounds normal enough, right? I'd say that's about my average, but the results were not average. It showed that the genes that were expressed to code for proteins that help your immune system were actually turned off, whereas the genes that were expressed to promote tumors, inflammation, and cardiovascular diseases were turned on. At some point, we should really start thinking, is this summative exam assignment more important than your genetic expression, than your health mentally, physically? I want all of us to remember that this study culture that we have created is not normal. Putting everything else, including achievements, above your health is not okay for you in any way, shape, or form. But it's not all doom and gloom, okay? There is still hope. We can break this toxic study cycle, the study culture that we've built, by firstly accepting that it's not normal, guys. First step. Second step is getting a full night's sleep, not broken down pieces of sleep. So do this by going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, right? Getting 20 minutes of exercise every day, very, very crucial. And when you're going to sleep, don't do it like it's something you have to tick off of a list. Create an environment for it, you guys. Like, lower the temperature, dim the lights, listen to some music, or read a book. But if you can't go to sleep, do not lie awake in bed. Would you sit on a dinner table waiting to get hungry? No, right? I hope not. Then why would you lie in bed waiting to get sleepy? No, don't do that. Instead, go and do something, and you will eventually feel tired enough and require sleep. To end off this speech, I want all of us to remember that as much as we should be striving to get to our academic achievements, we must keep our health in mind. Because this toxic study culture that we've created is not just a race towards achievement, but also a major architect in the way that we live our lives. Thank you.